Coming up, Valley News Live investigates the work environment within the Fargo Police Department. And a top city official gets arrested. Plus, Grand Forks police need help finding a person of interest. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Tonight, a story Valley News Live has been investigating. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I am Nashay Taylor. In less than 2 years, dozens of Fargo police officers and civilian staff have left their jobs, many of them citing the toxic dictatorship-like work environment is to blame. It's a story crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley has been investigating, but Valley News Team's Aaron Walling is here now to explain what has been uncovered.
Since FPD Chief David Cebulski took over in October 2020, 35 members of the department have resigned. In exit interviews that we obtained, many of them cited issues with Cebulski and his leadership. One person wrote, quote, "The Fargo Police Department is in crisis and Chief Cebulski will not admit it," end quote. But that wasn't the only statement made by former staff members. One wrote, Chief Cebulski believed that the FPD were a bunch of bumpkins and that he was here to fix us. And another wrote, "I do not hate the Fargo Police Department, but I do hate the toxic environment that exists within it." In the annual performance review we obtained for Cebulski in November last year, it showed little issues found by the City of Fargo's Human Resources Department. Current officers have told us that there are 6 or 7 officers on a shift throughout the entire city, saying that the usual number is around 12 or more and that they are drowning in service calls. Since late last fall, some former Fargo police officers have told us they've gone to work for the West Fargo Police, the Cass County Sheriff's Office, and over at Clay County. And at least 3 current officers are telling us that they're looking to leave, but have delayed the move as they state they are worried for the safety of the community with already low staffing numbers. A 20-year veteran on the department also said that Cebulski suffers greatly from a severe lack of leadership, while another officer says the Fargo Police Department and city leadership needs a wake-up call. The backdoor politics and good old boy system has run its course, and we are paying for the sins.
Now, according to several sources close to the department, at least 3 more staff members have submitted resignations to the Fargo Police Department just on Friday. Now, the Fargo City Commission will also be hosting an informational meeting on Tuesday. City officials say the purpose of the meeting is to provide an operational update on the Fargo Police Department. The meeting is set for the city at 11, in the City Commission chambers at City Hall. New tonight at 10, a top city official is behind bars after a domestic dispute at his home last night. West Fargo Assistant City Administrator Tim Solberg was arrested on aggravated domestic violence charges, but he has yet to be formally charged. Police were called just before midnight to Solberg's home on Osgood Parkway. When officers arrived, they learned a victim had been assaulted, who was later taken to a hospital to be treated for their injuries. FPD says as officers were arresting Solberg, he became uncooperative and resisted. Dispatch logs also show Fargo police officers were on the scene for nearly 4 hours. Solberg has since been placed on unpaid administrative leave. A 20-year-old man died this morning after being ejected from his vehicle in a crash on I-94 in Kidder County, about 20 minutes outside of Medina. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the man lost control of his pickup truck while traveling on the ice-covered roads, forcing his vehicle to flip and land on its roof. Authorities say the driver was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. And tonight we are learning new information about yesterday's early morning house fire in Grand Forks. One of the victims rescued from the burning home, a 40-year-old woman, has died. Early Saturday morning, fire crews were called to the home on 10th Avenue North, where they found one person trapped in a room and another as firefighters searched throughout the house. The second victim was also taken to a hospital for smoke inhalation, but their current status is still unknown. The Grand Forks Police Department is looking to identify this person on your screen. The individual is suspected of using stolen credit cards. If you have any information, please call GFPD at 701-787-8000. The Bemidji Police Department is asking for the public's help in finding a 15-year-old girl. Megan Barney is a runaway. She was last seen on Friday at Bemidji High School around 2 p.m. Barney is a Native American girl, about 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 195 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, dark colored jeans, and black and white shoes. If you know where she is, you are asked to contact Bemidji Police. That number is right on your screen. For years, dogs have been used to track scents invisible to the human nose to help law enforcement. Now, one special dog is added to North Dakota's team, and he's specifically trained to work on arson cases. Lee, a 2-year-old black lab that's partnered with a Bureau of Criminal Investigation agent, detects accelerants in suspected arsons and suspicious fires. Arson dogs can detect the scent that can be too small even for machines to pick up. Lee has been used twice since graduating training school last month. He is the only dog in North Dakota that can detect arson. The cyber criminals responsible for the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack have been arrested in Russia. A senior Biden administration official said Friday that a Russian intelligence agency detained a number of hackers and seized millions in assets. The group is also believed to have been behind major ransomware attacks on a top U.S. meat supplier and a software provider. But the attack on the Colonial Pipeline led to widespread shortages at gas stations along the East Coast last spring. The U.S. and Russia do not have an extradition treaty, and Russian intelligence have yet to provide information on how the suspects will be prosecuted. The number of COVID-19 cases continues to increase as the fast-moving Omicron variant crushes hospitals across the U.S. The U.S. has surpassed 65 million cases as of yesterday. The increase comes just 2 days after the country reached 64 million cases. Additionally, more than 853,000 deaths have been reported since the beginning of the pandemic. This week, a Department of Health town hall infectious disease experts expressed concern about children getting infected with Omicron. According to infectious disease physician Dr. Paul Carson, children generally fare better against Omicron than adults. However, since Omicron can be more than 3.5 times more infectious than the Delta variant, hospital admissions in children are more than twice as high as they were for the Delta wave.
Most of those pediatric hospitalizations are in that 0 to 4-year-old age group, and those children are not eligible for vaccination, which probably explains why they're the highest group being hospitalized. And of those children that are eligible for vaccination, about 91% of the hospitalizations in children that are occurring recently are in the unvaccinated, 91%.
Although hospitalizations in children have more than doubled from previous waves, the numbers are still lower than older age groups. Dr. Carson says the best way to know if a child has COVID-19 is to get tested. The CDC is suggesting using N95, KN95, or KF94 masks will help better protect people from the Omicron variant. But a recent study reported 60 to 70% of masks sold as KN95s could be fake. Experts say the best way to find real masks is to shop at big box stores or check the online sellers' suppliers. Italian police have arrested a nurse for allegedly faking COVID-19 vaccine injections. That's according to police in Italy today from a statement. The woman works as a nurse in the infectious diseases department at an Italian hospital. The woman is accused of having benefited from a fake booster dose against COVID-19 and also administered false vaccinations to other compliant individuals. The woman has since been put on house arrest for administering the fake jabs. Later on Valley News Live at 10, a 12-hour hostage situation in Texas ends with the hostages getting out alive. But up first, we got a relief from the frigid temperatures today, but that Arctic blast is returning this week. Summer's next.